everybody. Tonight we're going to be making a few recipes using a leftover Thanksgiving turkey that are both healthy and delicious. For those of you that don't know me, I am Nikki, your wellness and mindset coach and hormone specialist, and I'd like to welcome you to this episode of Healthy Deliciousness with Nikki Nicole. Okay, let's go to the stove and get started. Okay, everybody, for this first recipe, we're going to be making my favorite. I love a frittata. I call it the lazy man's omelet because it's easy. You can, and the great thing about a frittata is that you can put anything in it, whatever you like. Normally, when I fix a frittata, whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I don't always put meat in it, but we're going to use this turkey up. It'll just be extra protein, and you can use this once again for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I would say it would probably work better as a lunch or dinner with the turkey being in it, a little heavier, but hey, it's still good. So first, what we're going to do is going to dump in this onion and get it sauteing. I have some avocado oil already in the pan. Heat it up. We're going to let this cook a little bit. It'll only take a couple of minutes. Okay, I'll let that go. I will salt this in a minute because I don't want the juices to run out quite yet. So throw the garlic in when this gets a little more translucent. Let's turn this burner down slightly. And oh yeah, let's go ahead and we are going to need our broiler. So let's turn that on low and get that going. Okay, let's go ahead and salt this a little bit. This is just pink Himalayan salt. Doesn't take much. We will add the garlic in here shortly. Oh, onions flying everywhere. Okay, looks like we can go ahead and add this garlic in. We're not going to cook this garlic long. We don't want it to burn. Just start cooking through a little bit. Oh, that smells delicious. Delicious. The onions are cooking a little quickly, but it's all good. It's all good. It's going to be hidden in that final product, which is just oh so delicious and easy. Let's let that hang out for a minute. Okay. Now it looks like that is well enough. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and add these green beans in here. If you had something like a green bean casserole, I don't think I would want to add that in. But if you had some sauteed or steamed green beans, great, go ahead and do that. Depending upon what you seasoned it with, or if you put some type of sauce, you may want to rinse it. Honestly, though, these green beans were just fresh green beans that I cut and blanched for about 5 minutes. You can do that as well. And all I'm doing here is just getting everything heated through. And this is roasted butternut squash. If you have never had roasted butternut squash, you do not know what you're missing. Absolutely delicious. You don't have to cut it, eat it yourself. You can get it pre-cut, peeled and cut from the grocery store. Bring it home, add a little bit of oil to it. I'd say probably about 2 tablespoons of oil, olive oil, avocado oil. You could even do coconut oil. I wouldn't do coconut oil if I was putting it in the frittata. Throw a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic powder, throw it in the oven, 400 degrees for about 20-25 minutes, maybe 30 depending upon your oven, and pull it out, and it is absolutely delicious. Now, for that wonderful leftoverness, and see, there's not a lot of turkey in here, so if you only had a little bit of turkey, this is a perfect recipe. Or maybe you're trying to stretch the budget. I mean, food is getting expensive. And if you're trying to stretch the food budget, this is a great way to do it. You're getting vegetables in your family. This has a great amount of protein in it. It's going to be absolutely delicious. And all we're doing now is just feeding all this through. So that it cooks more evenly when we put our egg mixture on top. And just get it stirred up well. Make sure you have a little bit of everything in every bite. You don't want all green beans on one side or all butternut squash on the other. But maybe you do. You know what? Recipes are guides. You make it what you want it according to your taste, but keep it healthy. Can't let that turkey get away. Okay. Let's let that hang out for a minute. Now, in this bowl, I have 2 eggs. This is going to be enough for 4 people. And I usually do 2 eggs per person. You can do 1 extra just for good measure. And I will say, I don't measure. I'm one of those home cooks. It's when it comes to seasonings, I don't measure. I know that's not a good habit, but I just don't. I say season to taste. But as far as getting it to rise for you, I like doing water instead of milk because the milk can sort of change the flavor of the eggs a little bit and give you more of that souffle type texture. And that's not quite what we're going for here, although we do want it to puff up for us a little bit. So I add approximately a tablespoon per egg. I say approximate because once again, I don't measure. You can go as far down as half a tablespoon per egg and do like every 2 eggs, 1 tablespoon. Do that and see what works for you. You don't want it too soft, yet you don't want it too thick at the same time. And we're going to go ahead and salt our eggs. Got the red pepper. Let's put a little bit of pepper in here. And if you want, you can also throw in any other seasoning you like in your eggs. Whatever you like, season to taste. If you're going to do a little bit of garlic powder, maybe even a little onion powder, that's acceptable as well. So let's just get these scrambled. Actually, they don't want to break up. There we go. Now, we are going to pour the egg mixture evenly over the top. So basically what we're doing is we're letting it cook from the bottom up, but not completely. What we're looking for, I don't know if you can see, but it's starting to bubble where it's starting to cook from the bottom. It's starting to bubble up where it's setting up. But what we're really looking for is around the edges. You want to start seeing little whiteness where the eggs are cooking from beneath. And once we see that, we're going to go ahead and add some cheese. Now, I like to use, I love to use feta cheese. I love feta in my frittata. If you're not a fan of feta, that's totally fine. For extra flavor, though, if you don't want to use something like feta, you can do just a little bit of Parmesan cheese. And if you want that melty gooiness of cheese, just add a little bit of mozzarella. The mozzarella won't compete with the Parmesan, but the Parmesan is going to be lower in fat, but it's going to give you a bang of flavor. So the Parmesan with mozzarella works really well. Don't have either of those, or don't want to use either of those, you can go with the cheddar, Colby Jack, whatever you want to use, even pepper jack. If you want to add a little spice to it, that'll work too. So it looks like it's setting up well. Let's let that hang out a little bit, and then we'll add our cheese in a minute. Okay, I can see it's starting to set up just ever so slightly around the edges. It's not fully cooked through, and that's totally fine. That's why we're going to put it under the boiler. So what we're going to do now is just sprinkle this lovely feta all over the top. And don't go overboard and have it completely covered, because feta is a strong, magnificent flavor. You don't want to overpower this. Just enough to add that extra layer of flavor, just a tiny bit of gooeyness. So let's go under the broiler. Make sure you do have an oven safe pan. And for me, it needs to sit under the broiler about 6 to 7 minutes before it gets ready. But I would say start keeping an eye on it around the 5-minute mark, because every oven is different. Okay, let's check. Oh, yes, beautiful. Let's pull this out. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I wish you could smell this. It smells wonderful. You want it to start just browning on top. You can even let it get a little more brown. This is about the extent that I like it. We're going to let this cool off for a few minutes and cut it, and I'll let you see how it looks. Wonderful. Okay. Oh, that looks delicious. Okay, let's go give it a try. Okay, this smells delicious. Still a little warm. Let's give this a try. That is really good. Okay, guys, you have got to try this frittata. In this, I had the green beans, roasted butternut squash, turkey, and just topped with the feta cheese. And of course, the sauteed onions and garlic. Absolutely delicious. I will leave a link for the recipe. You can grab the full recipe off my website at withnickinicole.com. But you go over there, print it out. You don't have to write down anything. Okay, guys, our next recipe is going to be a simple chili. Basically, instead of using a ground meat like a ground beef or ground turkey or ground chicken, we are going to use leftover turkey that I have chopped up. But first, my favorite, I love to use onion to season whenever I can, onion and garlic. So let's get a little bit of onion and some oil. This is just a little bit of avocado oil down on the bottom. Let that saute a little bit. Okay, let's let these onions hang out a little bit, and once they start to get a little translucent, we'll add our garlic and throw in the other stuff, which is simple and very easy. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I know you can't see down in the pot, but I have gone ahead and added the garlic in after the onions hung out for a few minutes, so probably about 5 minutes. Got translucent. I forgot to turn the camera back on. Sorry, but the garlic is in here. It's been here about a minute or so, and it looks good. So we're going to go ahead and add in a can of diced tomatoes. If you don't care for tomatoes, don't add it in. You don't have to. You can, or you can just do tomato sauce if you want. I personally like a nice chunky chili. So, and if you like more tomatoes, of course, add more tomatoes. That's the beauty of chili, is you can customize it however you want. Because I also like making a quinoa chili when I want a totally plant-based chili instead of adding any meat. Tomatoes. Now we're going to go ahead and add in this wonderful, wonderful turkey. Let's go ahead and stir that up. That just makes everything a little easier. A little easier. And before I add the beans in, I'm going to go ahead and add the spices. I have about 1.5 tablespoons of chili powder. There's some cumin in here, some paprika, and I have cayenne pepper. My cayenne pepper is beautiful. It's actually from my garden. I grew quite a bit of cayenne pepper this year for the sole purpose of drying my own. And it just smells wonderful. I'm definitely going to have to grow even more peppers next year for different pepper blends. And I am letting these spices heat through in the pan, because that would develop the flavor a little bit. So let them heat through a little bit before we add in the beans and the water. Now you can add vegetable broth if you want for extra layer of flavor. I wouldn't do anything like a chicken or beef broth. That would change the flavor a little too much in my opinion. As far as beans, you can use whatever beans you want. I have a combination of kidney and black beans that I cooked together, and I did rinse them and throw them in the refrigerator. But I think this would be the equivalent of about 5 to 6 cans of beans. Once again, guys, I will leave the recipe, a link to the recipe for you to go and download the recipe so you'll have measurements for everything. I typically cook from dried beans instead of buying cans of beans. Not to say I never buy canned beans, because I do. But I like to can my own or cook my own basically from dried beans, because it's just more economical and it's a great way to keep my pantry stocked with food. Yeah, and that's another reason I garden, is to not only have fresh organic food to eat during season, but also to help keep my pantry well stocked. And it smells like it's about ready to add these beans in. And you can, if you don't want to make this much, you can of course cut the recipe in half. If you want to make more, you can double it and have enough to eat for 2 nights. It's totally up to you. Just getting everything stirred together in here. Now, I'm going to add in the water. I'm just adding the water from my kettle, only because I don't want to bring the temperature down. You don't have to. It's not necessary. Now I'm going to add in extra water and turn my heat up a little bit. And we're going to let this cook away and let all those flavors begin to meld together. Add salt. That should be enough. Remember, season to taste. Some of you might be like, oh, that's too much salt. Some of you might be like, that's not enough. But I did not salt my beans when I cooked them. Okay. We're going to let this hang out for about 30-40 minutes. And then we'll come back and take a look at it. Okay, everybody, I have let this simmer on the stove for about 30-35 minutes, and it's looking beautiful. So I am going to turn this off and just let it hang out for a bit. I am going to remove it from the heat. Let it hang out for a bit, and in the meantime, while that settles up, cools off a little bit so we can taste it, we're going to go ahead and make our next dish. Okay, while the turkey chili is over on the stove, hanging out, cooling off so we can give it a try, we're going to go ahead and work on some quesadillas. We're going to do just a regular turkey quesadilla with cheese. You can add anything else that you would normally add to your quesadillas. If you like to do a little onion, pepper, or whatever you like to add to it, go ahead and feel free to do that. But I'm going to do one of them with a cranberry sauce. I typically don't use canned cranberry sauce. I do a cranberry relish. It's just fresh with cranberries, oranges, apples, ginger, honey. Absolutely delicious. But it's not quite Thanksgiving yet in this recording, so I haven't made it yet. So I did buy the canned stuff. It's not quite as good, but it'll give you that cranberry flavor. because I'm sharing this with my daughter. Granted, she is older, but she's not a big fan of cranberry sauce. So let's get to putting these together. Super simple, super easy. This is a way to use that turkey up that you know your kids will love. Okay, super simple, super simple. I will say that when I haven't made quesadillas in a while, but when I do, I normally like to do a layer of cheese, and I like to add green bell pepper, onion to this, and I don't necessarily add the salsa inside. I just save it. I have it on the outside for people to dip, whatever they want, salsa, sour cream, whatever. But I do like to add a layer of cheese first. Don't go overboard. Cheeses, I look at it as to give flavor, but yeah, not too much, because that dairy can mess with the mucus inside your body. If you have a problem with things like postnasal drip, coughing, that sort of things, you want to cut back on your dairy. If not, cut it out completely. Some people can tolerate it, some cannot. Some can't tolerate any at all. Some can tolerate a little bit. I would say if you think you can tolerate a lot, you probably don't. You just think you can, and once you get it out of your life for a little while, you'll see like, ooh, maybe I can't tolerate the way I thought I did. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead. This is gonna be messy, the one I'm putting the cranberry sauce on, but it is what it is. I'm not sure if you heard, but my oven, I'm preheating my oven to 375. I like 375 because it just doesn't heat too quickly. Doesn't heat your food too quickly, as if you were putting on 400. A lot of people like to use 400, but I just, unless I am roasting something, I steer away from that high of a temperature on a regular basis. And this just adds, the cranberry sauce is reminiscent, of course, of Thanksgiving. It's a way to use up the rest of that cranberry sauce that you had left over that nobody wanted. Of course, you can put this on a sandwich, but I just think it's a fun way to add it to your quesadilla. The cheese I'm using is a Mexican blend cheese. You can use whatever cheese you prefer. And if you can even increase the flavor on this, if you love something like a goat or feta cheese, I would say have at it, try it out. I think they're probably too much for my palate, but hey, if you love it, go for it. If that is your favorite cheese, then try it out, go for it. I'm sure you'll love it. It would be flavor explosion, I know, in your mouth, but that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Just when you're picking out your things, just try to get the best quality products that you can afford. Like with cheeses, if you can go organic, or even a raw milk cheese, even better. If you, as far as your meat, try to get things that are pasture raised if possible, if you can afford it and have access to it. When you're buying eggs, if you can buy them from somebody locally, great. If not, I would say free range, but in the store, that free range is not necessarily free range. Vegetables, try to go organic when possible. Local is best because you can check out the farm, grow it if you can, which is what I try to do, is grow as much as possible. So just buy what you can afford, because food costs are going up. I'm going to go ahead and fold these over. I don't think I said, but these are a cauliflower gluten-free wrap. Okay, we're going to get these in the oven and let them get toasted a little bit. You can choose to flip these, you don't have to, but we're going to put them in the oven we're going to check them in about 5 minutes to see how they're doing, and then give it a taste. Okay, let's check on them. Yes. Okay, I did come and flip them. Beautiful. Around the 5-minute mark. Okay, let's give this chili a taste. It has had time to cool off a bit. Let's get a little bit of everything on this spoon. Mmm. That's really good. It's only going to get better as it sits and the flavors melt together even more. Oh my goodness. I don't know about you. I love chili. I love tasty food. Tasty food that keeps me healthy. Really good. You gotta try this. Okay. Now, let's taste this quesadilla. By the way, I'm getting a little full. But here we go. I wasn't sure how I was going to like it with the cranberry sauce. It actually adds a layer of unexpected flavor. You're not expecting that sweetness. And I think it'll be really good with some hot sauce or sriracha sauce, whatever you like. But any type of hot sauce will be really good with the sweetness of that cranberry sauce. Yeah, definitely give that a try. I didn't fry it like you normally would a quesadilla. Just trying to cut back on the calories. I know they say calories don't matter, but I'm just going to be honest, calories do matter when you're trying to lose weight or keep your weight down. You do still want to be calorie conscious. I'm not saying count calories, but don't go deep frying your food. Baking it is just fine. If that is just way too healthy for you, you can just spray on real quick a light layer of olive oil or avocado oil before you throw it in the oven. But yeah, stay away from the deep fryers. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed today's recipes, and please give them a try and let me know what you think. I will leave the link for all of them on my website in the description below. And remember to eat and live healthy. You do not have to eat an extreme diet. It's about having a plant-strong diet and moving your body and controlling stress when it comes to health. Of course, there are other things, but those are the main three to keep in mind. Okay, guys, in peace and good health. I'll see you in the next video. I'm Nikki Nicole.